The papers now, see what the headlines are saying in Nigeria. And I have with me leadership and communication strategist, Dr. John, as well as social affairs commentator, Shijibumi Adebi Bennett. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's a great Monday, I must say.
Great Monday.
Okay.
It's good to be here.
Let's begin with the Nation newspaper. That's the first one we'll start this morning. APC clears Lawan and others to consult PDP colleagues. And ex-governors back Senate leader Gbajabiamila. That's what the Nation is saying this morning. Let's move now to the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun is saying as queues resurface in major cities, no plan to remove fuel subsidy. Federal government is saying that. IMF rates NSIA high, clears air on sovereign wealth fund. Okay, that's the story on the front page of the Daily Sun. From the Daily Sun, let's move now to Blueprint. Blueprint is saying the 9th National Assembly, finally APC settles for Gbajabiamila, party not opposed to Lawan lobbying PDP senators. That's what the Blueprint is saying this morning. From the Blueprint, let's go now to the Guardian. No plan to remove fuel subsidy now, federal government insists. And it has some multiple riders there. PPPRA allays fear of product scarcity, and NSCDC begins clampdown on hoarders today. And Nupeng Pengasan fault IMF on economy, and why Brexit won't hurt Nigeria by Mefiele. Okay. From the Guardian, let's move now to the Abuja Inquirer. From the heart of the capital city, Abuja, several orphanages face hammer in the FCT. That's on child trafficking, and certainly we'll be talking about that on the show this morning. From the Abuja Inquirer, let's move now to This Day. This Day newspaper. Buhari weighs options on incoming cabinet rather. Buhari weighs options on incoming cabinet. Once clean slate may recall only a few current ministers. Incumbents abandon responsibilities, engage in massive lobby to return. Okay, that's This Day. Let's move now to the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph says fuel crisis bites harder. Hoarding, profiteering worsen as marketers shut gates. NNPC cautions Nigerians against panic buying. And federal government, no plan to remove fuel subsidy now. Okay, that's the New Telegraph. Let's move now to the last one. News Direct is the last one for today. Fuel scarcity, IMF subsidy removal proposal. Dealers shut filling stations. As federal government, NLC marketers disagree. And PPPRA assures of adequate supply. And black market price hits 220 naira per liter. Okay. Gentlemen, when it comes to the scare of or speculation of scarcity of fuel, you begin to see a lot of activity, you begin to see a lot of things. Black market is already 220 in parts of the country, especially, you know, when that news hits the ears. Abuja black market always activates. What do you have to say about all of these issues going on with the IMF advising Nigeria against removal of subsidy and all of that? Dr. Let me start with you.
Okay, talking about removal of subsidy is actually a way of trying to end corruption, if you ask me, because either we like it or not, this is what the last government didn't get right, and it's the issue of people hiding under subsidy to steal from government. I'm aware of some people who import fuel, they take subsidy on it, and they drive it to Benin Republic to sell, because the prices are higher in some of these in all our neighboring countries. So it's when IMF is coming out to say remove subsidy, it's a way of saying there's so much of corruption. Unfortunately, and so disappointingly, is the fact that this present government has not been able to get it right too.
Okay, when it comes to this government getting it right, or they are on the verge of putting their hands on deck to do something about the subsidy, Shijibumi, I wonder how helpless this government is. If it is, I don't know, but when it comes to the issue of subsidy, initially they said there was no subsidy, they were not going to be involved with subsidy, but we still see it on the burner.
Until the day we get our refineries working, no government can get it right with subsidy. In as much as it is Nigerians that are going to be in NNPC, we know ourselves, we know our peculiarities. People will always find the loopholes in everything. What I am happy about is the fact that subsidy can now be restricted to a department or to a set of people. So if peradventure another party comes in tomorrow and you want to beam your satellite, you don't need to go far. Just focus on NNPC. Focus on the staff of NNPC. And if people are found wanting, get them into jail.
So it seems most likely that the almighty solution is the Dangote refinery that Nigeria is waiting for in 2020 or 2021.
Let's continue to wait. But for me, if you ask me, picking it up from where Shiji stopped, we have 4 refineries now with combined capacity of close to 500,000 barrels per day. As I'm speaking now, none of them can boast of working 25% capacity. So if we do not fix our refinery, we are not saying that the refinery.
But a lot of money has been spent. A lot of money has been spent even in the previous dispensation up until now, trying to fix them, and they never work.
That is why the system remains the same. The system remains the same because nobody is asking sincere questions as to how even NNPC operates the oil sector. And if you can't ask questions and prefer solutions, then why are we here? Not even with a sitting president who has experience in the sector.
Right. Okay, let's move on from there. Now, there's something I like, disturbing development from the heart of Abuja on the Abuja Inquirer. That's the newspaper we're looking at now. On child trafficking, several orphanages face hammer in Abuja. Some of the orphanages were accused of involvement in human trafficking as they remain as orphanages. I wonder how disturbing this is, Shiji. Let me start with you on this.
Yes, and you know, sometimes the way we profit from our contemporaries and compatriots' conditions and situations baffles me and amazes me. If it is IDPs, you get people, instead of them providing the food for them, getting the food to commercial cities to sell. And if it's people that have just lost some money that are supposed to be given to them, you see people, you know, trying to get this money into their various pockets. So regulations is just, orientation and regulations will continue. The regulatory bodies will continue to do their work. They should continue to enforce monitoring and all that so that we separate the wheat from the chaff. Then orientation also for our people. The way the get rich quick syndrome is affecting Nigeria now. Sometimes when you look at this new generation coming, the millennials, as we call them, you will be amazed at the way some of them think, not all of them. So these are the things that confront us as a nation. So these are the things that we have to start finding solutions to.
Dr. When it comes to orientation, like Shiji Bumi has said, yes, do you think there's something basically wrong somewhere with the way they approach people profit from other people's misfortune when we are supposed to be there assisting and helping?
Yes, it's fast becoming a traditional mindset. And once it becomes a mindset of the society, and there's nothing you would do about that. Unfortunately, I was asking myself, for example, everybody will position ourselves to benefit from the process of governance. Nobody wants to give something because traditionally our orientation about leadership is what we can gain from the entire governance process. And this has trickled down to other aspects. That's why you're running an NGO, for example. It's an NGO, for God's sake. But at the back of your mind, you are thinking about how to get foreign grant and squander. You are thinking about how to transport some of these innocent young ladies abroad and make money. So greed has become our God and money our master in Nigeria. And once we continue with this kind of mindset, we're going to be moving, God forbid, from one trouble to the other.
APC clears Lawan, others to consult PDP colleagues. Ex-governors back Senate leader Gbajabiamila. And we'll move to the Daily Sun. As queues resurface in major cities, no plan to remove fuel subsidy. Federal government IMF rates NSIA high, clears air on sovereign wealth fund. On the front page of the blueprint, Ninth NAS. Finally, APC settles for Gbajabiamila, party not opposed to Lawan lobbying PDP senators. And we'll move to The Guardian. No plan to remove fuel subsidy now, federal government insists. PPPRA allays fear of product scarcity. NSCDC begins clampdown on hoarders today. Nupeng Pengerson fault IMF on economy. Why Brexit won't hurt Nigeria by Emefiele. And on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer, child trafficking, several orphanages face hammer in the FCT. This day now, Buhari weighs options on incoming cabinet. Once clean slate may recall only a few current ministers. Incumbent abandon responsibilities, engage in massive lobby to return. And on the front page of the New Telegraph, fuel crisis bites harder. Hoarding, profiteering worsen as the marketers shut gates. NNPC cautions Nigerians against panic buying. Federal government, no plan to remove fuel subsidy now. And finally, on the front page of Nigerian News Direct, fuel scarcity, IMF subsidy removal proposal. Dealers shut filling stations as federal government NLC marketers disagree. PPPRA assures of adequate supply. Black market price hits 220 naira per litre. Now, gentlemen, one story I would like for us to look at this morning is on the front page of this day newspaper. And it says Buhari weighs options on incoming cabinets. This is coming barely a month and a half to his second term. Remember, if you recall, rather, in 2015, it took him about 6 months. And, you know, several criticisms trailed the president's reaction. I'll start with you, Shijibumi.
Yes, this time around, I think the assertions and the statements from the presidency is kind of consistent, and maybe there will be a deviation from what happened 4 years ago. But I still think that a good chunk of the people that will be named ministers will still be the known politicians. Maybe we will see new faces, but you know, there is something about politics. When you invest, when you sow, you have to reap. So I don't expect so
when
many
you invest,
technocrats.
when you sow, you have to make that. That's quite a weighty statement. You have to make that clear.
Yes, because when people have invested their resources and their time and everything into a party, if I was a member of a party and I made sure that the president returned and I made sure that APC won in my state, you don't expect the president to just give me a handshake.
It's to pay back with
yes.
a portfolio.
So and say,
really?
Presidential handshake and come back in 4 years.
No.
But the only thing is, we should look at the character and competence of these people so that this time around, he can put round pegs in round holes. Because when you have situations whereby people who are named ministers, they are professionals as well. All right. But they are not put where they can function effectively. So
Dawson, I'll take it up from, I wanted to address this issue when he talked about a presidential handshake. You can't invest and not expect something. Now, what are expectations when it comes to the president having his cabinet for his second term?
The expectations really are high, if you ask me. But the first thing is that the people that the president are going to pick are still going to be within the political class, those running the political system. But again, I think the president has to be a little bit very careful, because we've seen in the last 4 years, he has a vision for the nation, and he was able to make it very clear in the manifesto, his personal statement and the manifesto of the party. But if you ask me, I would say many of the ministers, current ministers, did not drive the vision of the president.
Reports of them, most of them lobbying to return now.
Of course they will lobby, because they are also players in the political system, but we can only get it right. I'm not saying they should now look away from politicians. We still have to appoint from politicians if they need be, but they must look away from people who play politics 80% and devote 20% of their time and their energy to governance. We must pick people who are ready to focus on governance and play less of politics. If, for example, I'm going to name names, and if you had left an Amechi to face the issue of governance 80%, by now this nation will have turned to another thing. I mean, for the very good, for the better. But you discover that at the later end of this government, there have been a lot of politicking and all that here and there. If we can
but can we take that away? Can we totally take that away?
We cannot totally take it away. What I'm saying is that let's pay more attention to governance rather than always wanting to play politics. And politicking, let me tell you what politicking does is that an average politician is thinking once they engage in politicking that the entire benefit of the political system will be theirs. You cannot win all the time.
All right.
Cannot.
We'll have to leave it at this point, gentlemen, but thank you for your submission on the newspaper review this morning. You're watching TVC Breakfast.